All right, Cecilia. Nice to see you again.
Good to see you again.
How have things been since we last met?
They've been okay. Things been a little bit stressful at work. My manager's been giving me a lot of projects to do and a lot of things to handle, and I feel a little stressed out.
Uh-huh.
And my grandpa, he's not doing the best. He's doing okay, but not the best. He had a cold, and he's like taking a long time to recover from the cold, but it's just a cough, but it's like lingering and it's making me a little worried. And my friend Ayana, she had a housewarming party because she just got a new apartment,
Okay.
and she invited me to go.
Did you go?
No,
Oh. And why not?
I didn't really feel comfortable going.
Yeah. I know you have a hard time around like social anxiety you stressed with.
Mm-hmm.
And have you been around any like sorts of crowds of friends? Like have you gone out like little crowds?
Little crowds. Like I went to church the other day, and I stayed for the whole service.
Okay.
And I even
Good.
stayed for the coffee hour,
Nice.
and I did not like that.
But that was a big step to like stay, even though you were probably very uncomfortable,
Yeah.
right? So at work, what's going on? You said you have a hard time managing tasks.
Yes. So my manager, he's been giving me like a lot of projects because I'm taking on this new role as the supervisor. So because I'm taking on this new role, he's been giving me more and more projects to do, which I'm trying to fulfill them all, but it's just so many deadlines like back to back to back, and I just feel like I'm not meeting them on time. And then I do meet them on time, I feel like I'm not doing the work correctly. And
Right, so you're rushing to get it done.
yes.
Is there a way where you could try to prioritize like the most important things and
The only thing is like all the projects are different, so it's like there's not really that's like important. It's more like this one has to get done, but also make sure this one gets done as well. So it's like I could try to prioritize, but then like
so you're like juggling.
Yeah,
That could be very stressful.
it is. It really is.
What about like could you make a list of things? And like sometimes it's easier to like if you make a list to check off one by one how things can go.
Mm-hmm.
And that way it's easier to figure out what you've done and what you have left to do rather than having it all jumbled up in your head, you know what I mean?
Yeah, I could definitely go into making the list. Sometimes I've thought about making a list in the past, but I just never know how to make it, because when I think about making the list, I'm like, okay, like how do I prioritize which one goes first? Like my work project A is due on the 18th, but work project B is also due on the 19th, but work project B is a little bit more important than work project A, but like how do I...
And you do this by yourself? There's nobody that can, like you don't have a coworker that can help you?
I have a coworker, but he has his own issues going on sometimes, so I don't want to like bother him with my stuff.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, technically, yes, there is another person on my team I could ask to help, but
you don't want to feel like a burden.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it never hurts to ask, right? And maybe by asking, you guys can work together and then create a bond, and you might have a friendship flourish from that. You never know, right? And also, it'll help you like stay more organized in getting your work done.
Right. I could do that. I could definitely give that a shot.
That's an idea. So you didn't go to, how do you say her name?
Ayana.
Ayana. You didn't go to Ayana's housewarming party. Did she say anything about you not going?
She was very, very upset.
Was she?
Yeah.
Okay. And what did you explain to her?
I lied to her and told her that, I had so much things I had to do at work, which wasn't a complete lie, but I mean, I had finished most of the tasks, so I could carve out the time. I mean, I had my dress ready and everything. I knew exactly what I was going to do my hair. I had put my makeup out and all my jewelry out, and I was ready to go. I just couldn't make it through the door.
So what did you do instead?
I stayed home with my dog.
And just hung out with the dog. Did you guys do anything?
We went for a walk in the park. We went to the grocery store. I got him some food, and I got myself a little TV dinner, and
nice.
We just stayed inside and watched movies.
Okay. So that was like a form of like self care, I guess. Like for
Yeah,
you, not being able to go around social events as much. But we want to try to work towards that so you can build some connections with people, you
yeah,
know? I think that you going to church and staying after for the social hour for coffee, that was a big step for you.
yeah.
So give yourself credit for that.
Okay.
You know, that's awesome. Um, Maybe ask her out for coffee one day, just you and her, you know,
I could definitely do that.
and you can like explain to her. I mean, does she know that you struggle with social anxiety?
She does. She does. She's been my friend since 10th grade, and she
Right.
knows that sometimes I have these social anxieties where I just freak out. But she was looking forward to me being at a party. We had planned the party together, actually, which is why she's even more upset because we planned the party together. I helped pick out the music, but like she had like 20 people in her apartment, and I just that thought of just being around that many people just gave me so much
Yeah, and it
anxiety.
sounds like a small, if it's an apartment, a small space with a lot of people
Yeah,
can make it even worse.
yeah.
I can
So
imagine.
it wasn't ideal.
Okay, so that's okay. We can work with that. I can agree with like you not wanting to go to something like that.
Mhm.
Um, but like I said, maybe invite her out for coffee or dinner and just have a talk with her so she's not upset with you.
Yeah, I definitely should do that.
That's one of your best friends.
Hmm.
Um, so how you said your grandfather? What's going on with him? He's having.
He had a really bad cold a few weeks ago, and he's still having the lingering effects. He still has like the cough and the runny nose, and he has some aches and pains. And he says he's fine. And I took him to the doctors last week Tuesday, and they said that he's okay. His heart sounds good, but my grandfather did suffer from a stroke a couple of years ago, so it's just those lingering effects could be, detrimental to him. And he's all like he and my grandmother are all I have, so I just worry about him sometimes especially because he's older.
Right. And they live close by to you?
Yeah, they live pretty close by, probably within like 10 12 minutes, 10, 12 minutes.
Okay. So they're not far for you to go check on, but again, that probably, like you said, it causes stress,
Yes.
more stress on you, more weight to carry,
Yes.
right? Um, how can we alleviate that a little bit for you?
I know my grandparents are getting older, and it's inevitable
Right.
that they're gonna get sick, but they've been alive for a long time. They know how to take care of themselves. It's just I don't want to lose them because they're all I have.
Right.
Being that I don't have any siblings, and it's just a little fearful thinking about it.
Right. Now, have you coped with like the death of your parents when you were little?
In a way, kind of, yeah. Prayer, meditation.
Okay.
I have pictures of them in my house, and I sometimes talk to them. But
Right.
I feel like I coped.
Okay. Yeah, because that can be difficult if you haven't coped with. I could imagine the loss of both of my parents. I couldn't imagine what that feels like. And then being left with your grandparents taking care of you your whole life, um, and now having the fear of losing them. I can understand that,
Yeah.
that fear. Um, and at the same time, you're the most important person, right? So, like, grandparents, they're going to get old.
Yeah.
All you can do, I think, is spend quality time with them, and not take on all of their stuff,
Yeah.
right? Which can be overwhelming on your plate, and you already have enough, I think, on your plate to worry about. But that's family, so I think that's probably one of the most important things to I guess, worry about of all things. That there's ways to get around the rest of those stressors.
I know that my grandmother, um, she does some home remedies where she does like eucalyptus in the bathtub, and she'll do
Nice.
the peppermint in water, hot water, and she'll like try to clear their sinuses. I know they're taking care of themselves, and
Nice.
They have many different home remedies that they use. They also try to exercise. They go for walks about twice a week, weather permitting. I also know that my grandmother is part of a knitting club
nice.
at our church.
Okay.
And my grandfather, he does have his own. He still has some of his friends from high school that he goes and plays poker with, or he goes and he also paints. So I know
that's good. Then they're active. They got hobbies. They're doing stuff.
Yeah,
they're keeping busy.
They're pretty social.
That's good because a lot of grandparents and elderly people don't do that.
Yeah, you're right.
And I think that is crucial to their health.
Absolutely,
keep them young, as much as possible. What are So what are some of your coping skills that you do for self-care? What does your self-care look like?
On my days off from work, I'll either work out, maybe go for a walk, weather permitting. I'll take Charlie for a walk. He loves long walks. He loves to go.
And what kind of dog is Charlie?
A Rottweiler.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he loves to go for long walks. He loves to walk for hours, maybe about an hour and a half. And then we'll come home. We'll lay down on the couch and I'll make some food. We'll watch movies together. And sometimes I'd like to go for long drives to just listen to music and clear my head. I also like to dance around my apartment by myself with music. Yeah, that's pretty my self-care routine.
That's a good routine there. I like that. Have you developed any other meaningful relationships since we last talked?
I did go to a bar, actually.
Okay.
And I did talk to a guy.
How'd that go?
It went pretty well. I got his number.
Okay.
And that's all.
That's all? Yeah, have you talked to him since?
I think I spoke to him on Wednesday.
Okay. All right. Well, that's good. I mean, that could be something there. I'm sure you're nervous about that too. I can imagine.
Yeah, it's a little nerve-wracking and seems a little. I don't know. Seems like new, and I don't like it.
Right. Well, new is uncomfortable, right? We're used to when we're used to doing the same thing for so long, we've become comfortable. And we're afraid of change, right?
Right.
And I think the more you push yourself, the more you step outside that comfort zone, the more you're going to grow, right? And I think you're doing a great job of coming up with coping skills. And I think if you stick with reaching out to your friend to get up with some coffee and do those things at work, that will flourish some relationships. Definitely. Is there anything else you wanted to talk about?
So my friend Yvette, who I've been friends with since I was in middle school, she was also at Ayana's housewarming party, and she was also not too pleased with me, but she gets it, and she spoke to me the other day, and she kind of wanted to see where my head was at and how everything was, and I told her the truth, which was that I was feeling really anxious about going to a place where there was that many people. And she was a little confused because there has been times where I've gone over to her house and her family is there. She has a big family. Her family is pretty big. She has 2 brothers, 1 sister, her mom, her dad, her uncles, her grandma, grandpa. They're all always there. And she's like, well, you're okay to hang out with my family, so what's the difference between my family and Ayana's friends? And I told her, I don't know. I'm more comfortable with your family because I've known them since I moved here to Boston. And she was like, that doesn't really like make sense to her. So it was hard to try to articulate why I felt the way I felt, and I think by not being able to articulate that to her made me feel even more anxiety because it's like now it seems like I'm making an excuse.
Right.
So that was stressful.
But I think that makes perfect sense. You're familiar with her family rather than you're not so familiar with all these 20 people that were in the apartment.
Yeah.
Right? So working on not isolating yourself is going to be like number one. For you, I'm going to give you that assignment not to isolate yourself and try to step outside your comfort zone. I think going to church and continuing to go to the coffee after hours, after church, I think that's a great step. I think continue to do that. How is it being manager at your digital media company?
It's a little more stress than I realized. I was definitely glad to get the promotion. It was definitely something really huge, especially because I worked very hard.
Congratulations on that.
And being that it was a big promotion, now that there's all these responsibilities with it, it's like, wow, I kind of forgot that I'm not the little player no more. I'm kind of like a big player because now it's like I have a team to manage, and also I respond directly to my manager. So it's like it's a little more stressful.
Teams to respond to. You have all these tasks. How is it like working over a group of people? Is it?
My team's pretty good, I would say. I've worked with them since I started, and they're all pretty awesome people. They are respectful. They're good with their time management. There's a few slackers, but sometimes all I have to do is be more like, "Hey, let's get this done," and they're like right on the ball. So I wouldn't trade my team for the world. I do say that they do have a good job. They do a good job at getting their tasks done. Now, when it comes to my part of the work, it feels like I need to make sure that I get they're doing their part. I need to get my part done. So that we all look good.
Right. I know you mentioned before that your grandparents taught you a strong work ethic, and I can probably sense like a bit of you stressing over all your work and the things that you got to get done. That's in the back of your mind too.
Yes.
Right. So, I mean, and that could be added stress to you as well. I can imagine. So you go on walks with the dog in the free time. How is it living on your own?
It's okay.
You've been living on your own for 3 months now?
Yeah, it's pretty cool. I would say that there's a whole another level of responsibilities that I got to make sure I tend to, like also making sure I have groceries in the fridge, or that I have restocked up on Charlie's food because he's a big boy. He eats a lot, so I got to make sure that he is being fed. And there's some added responsibilities to that too, which I'm managing, and paying my rent is good, which is also another reason why I'm so happy for the promotion, because it's helped me be able to pay my rent and also have like a little more pocket change so I can go do things.
Right, so you're not living a paycheck to paycheck.
Yeah.
Right, you got a little extra money. That's good.
And I do try to manage my house responsibilities alongside with my work responsibilities, like making sure that my laundry is done, making sure that my apartment isn't in disarray, making sure that I have food to eat, which again also boils down to me making sure I get groceries, but sometimes I know I don't have the best eating habits and I always end up eating takeout, but I always make sure that Charlie has his food, but sometimes I'll just get Chinese food or get Wendy's or get convenient. Not the best.
Well, it sounds like you keep a organized apartment. And does it ever get? I mean, I'm sure it gets lonely, and you probably feel isolated a lot too. What about having people or a couple people over?
I have had Ayana and Yvette over for dinner. I've had my grandparents over. They were over 2 Sundays ago. 2 Sundays ago? Yeah, 2 Sundays ago they were over, and we had some dinner. And
what did you guys have?
My grandmother made lasagna soup, which
Lasagna
was
soup?
lasagna soup. I've never had it before,
Okay,
but
I've
it
never
was
heard of that.
yeah, it was like you crush up lasagna noodles and you have ground beef and cheese and
Okay, that sounds good.
all the fixins, and then it was pretty good. It was nice and comforting.
Nice.
Charlie kept trying to jump on the table, so there was that, but it was okay. He didn't knock anything over. Thank goodness.
All right, well, that's a good step too. I think you're making like all the right strides. So let's recap what your goals are for next time.
So I know that I have to work on my organizational skills, so I should make a list of, you know, prioritizing my work assignments and which ones are more pressing. Like, say, for instance, I have a project that's due on the 18th. Make sure I get it done by the 18th. Focus on the one that's due for the 18th. And then I can focus on the one that's due on the 19th. So that way, at least I have a little breathing room.
Right.
And also to not be afraid to ask my coworker, because he is there to help me.
Right. Yeah. I mean, I'm sure he's got, like, everybody's going through stuff, you know what I mean? So, like, I'm sure, you know, you might be a help for him. Like, he might need somebody too.
Right.
You never know. So asking him would be a great idea too. So that's good. Mm-hmm. All right. What else we got?
I know that you said that I have to work on my social skills, so I will definitely invite Ayana out for coffee and try my best to explain to her why I did flake on the party, and to let her know that I will put more cautious effort into going to going to events together with her, or just being there for her, and also to let her know that I do value our friendship, so I won't flake on her again.
And maybe too, if you go out to a social event that she invites you to, and you really don't want to go, you force yourself to go. See how you feel. Give it a little while you're there. See how you feel, and if it's too much for you, you can always leave. You know, and then that'll be like a baby step. Like you made the effort, you tried it out.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, you felt it out. You didn't really like how it felt at first, so you leave, and then you can try again the next time, and maybe you'll stay longer the next time, and before you know it, you'll be staying the whole time.
Okay, I could definitely give that a shot.
That's an idea too. So invite the friends out for coffee. You're gonna make a list for work. What about the grandparents?
No, I know that they're okay, and I know that they can take care of themselves. And I know that my grandparents are getting older, and it's inevitable that they will get older, and that they'll have their ailments, and just try to take care of them, but also remember that, you know, to spend more time with them, and also to be present with them and not think about the end.
Right.
To just think about the good times.
Staying in the moment.
Staying in the moment, yes.
Okay, good. What about positive affirmations? How are you with positive affirmations? You tell yourself good things about yourself?
No.
No. So, what about we start doing that? What about you can make a list too of like A to Z. You can list. You can put like I am authentic, or I am brave, or you know, all the letters of the alphabet. Words that you are, and then when you're feeling down and out or isolated or however, you can reread that list and remind yourself how amazing and strong that you are, and that you can handle these things.
Right.
You know, because I feel like you beat yourself up a little bit, and I don't want you to take on the weight of the world and think that, you know, you have to solve everything at one time, and that like tomorrow's a new day, and you can always try again tomorrow.
Yeah.
right? But I think positive affirmations would be good for you. What do you think about that?
I definitely give that a shot. I haven't really thought of that as something I could do, but I definitely think that might help, especially when I'm feeling a little down and sad. I could definitely give myself those positive affirmations to try to keep myself in a good spirit.
Yeah, and it's tough when you're feeling down and trying to lift yourself back up out of that hole, and you know, and again, like I know, like I can't do it by myself. I need other people to help,
Yeah.
and so by building those connections, that'll only make you stronger too, and have more support.
Yeah.
When you need it most, you'll have people to go to, and not have to think twice about calling somebody just to vent to or whatever.
Yeah, I definitely will try to do that. I think I could benefit from that. I think I could see a good benefit of that, especially in my time of isolation, in my time where I feel like a little hermit crab.
Yeah, that can be easy to do.
Yeah.
Right. Let's see here.
I guess I could also work on starting to go out more. Maybe talk to the guy that I got his number and try to go out on more outings with them.
Yeah.
See if that sparks anything.
Okay.
Maybe. Ew.
Because how long has it been since you've been in a relationship?
My last meaningful relationship, I guess, would say was when I was 21.
Okay.
So.
And how long did that last?
8 months.
8 months. Okay.
Give or take it.
And how did that end?
We just grew apart. It was more so of like he was on a different track in life. He wanted to go and be an entrepreneur, and he had these big aspirations to be a businessman and have his own business and do his own thing. And I just wanted to just follow the tool company and follow that line.
Right, the corporate
way.
Okay. So that's been what, 6 years since a relationship?
Yeah.
That's okay. You're still young. And I think this guy that you met, it doesn't hurt to give it a shot, and it doesn't have to be anything serious, but just another way too to get outside of your comfort zone. And if a relationship, an intimate relationship, doesn't flourish from that, maybe a friendship would flourish from that as well. And now here you go, making all these friends before you know it,
Yeah.
So that's good. These are all good things.
I do know that my one hang up, if I may say, is I have it's a bit hard time trusting people.
Okay.
I do feel like everybody has like ulterior motives. There have been times where I always ask my friend Ayana, who are you at? I'm like, hey, do you guys even like me? And they're like, shut up, idiot. We've been friends with you for so long. Like, why would you even say that? And sometimes, I don't know.
See, that's where the positive affirmations can come into play, right?
Yeah.
Because you are worthy of friends, and people do love you and care about you. And there are people that you can trust. I mean, you've been friends with these girls for years. So they're obviously sticking around you because they like you. Right?
Are they pity me?
Well, I don't think that's true. I don't think they pity you. I think they're your friends and they care about you. And, like you said, like she picked you to help her plan this party. Or she could have picked anybody else.
Right, yeah. Yeah.
She chose you.
Yeah.
Right? So you must be one of her favorites.
I suppose.
But trusting people is tough, especially when you've had your trust broken like time after time. I know that building trust in all relationships takes time. Um, but sometimes the best way to do that is to get vulnerable and let your guard down and just know that, like, you're going to get hurt along the way. People are going to break your trust. But through getting vulnerable and people breaking your trust and hurting you, you're gonna eventually find the people worth, like, suffering for, well, not suffering for, but you're gonna eventually find the people that aren't gonna do that. And sometimes you got to go through the hard road to find those people.
Right.
But I think you have those people in your life, and you just gotta flip your thoughts and tell yourself otherwise, right? Instead of saying they pity you and they're not really your friends and all this stuff. Like, I think they genuinely care about you, and if you make the effort to step outside your comfort zone and invite them over or invite them out, that would mean a lot to them, and then you can get vulnerable with them. And I mean, I'm sure they know, like you said, they know about your social anxiety.
Yeah.
And I don't want them to think that, these were excuses for you not to go. And maybe they can help you, right? Maybe they can help you.
Yeah, there's definitely been times where Yvette has definitely helped me, especially when I remember the death of my parents. She's definitely been there for me. She's invited me over to her house. I've gone to church with her and her family at times. There's been times where I can get on the phone with her and she'll just hear me talk for hours or and about anything, and vice versa. She'll come over to my house and we'll either watch a movie or she'll go on walks with me and Charlie. She loves Charlie. Charlie loves her. They always thick as thieves, I guess those two are. Have a good bond. So I could definitely try to make a better effort to not think that so negatively.
Yeah. Positive affirmations are important. I'm going to have you work on that. I was going to say something else and I lost it. So your faith and your trust in a higher power has grown stronger, it sounds like. I know you were struggling with that, but
yeah,
you've been going to church. You've been doing that. So
it definitely does make me feel a little more grounded and helps me feel a connection with my mom and dad.
Good. That's important.
Yeah.
I'm sure you miss them a lot.
I do. Yeah. And I know they're watching over me and making sure that I'm not gonna fail. I know they're watching me and guiding me every time.
And you're not gonna fail. You're not gonna fail. As long as you keep the mindset of, I can do this, I'm strong enough to do this, I'm smart, I'm courageous, tell yourself those things, because at the end of the day, like, would you tell Yvette the things that you tell yourself?
No.
Right, so talk to yourself as you would talk to your best friend, right? Because you are your best friend, right? It's just you at the end, right? So you have to lift yourself up, and like I said, it's going to be a lot more helpful having the support of other people.
Yeah.
So yeah, these were all good things. Like I said, just to go over the confidentiality thing again, everything that's said here stays here. You have my trust and my support, and I will have you next time we meet. I want to hear about these goals and how you worked through them and your positive affirmations. And I think you're capable of doing all these things. You just have to believe in yourself. And the best way you can do that as well is having your friends motivate you and believe in you too. Actually.
Thank you.
So before we wrap up, is there anything else that you wanted to talk about? Or?
No, not in particular. I think we covered a lot today, especially. I would definitely, most definitely, start implementing those lists for work. I feel like that might help ease the anxiety I have, and I will definitely schedule coffee time with my friend Diana.
Yeah.
So hopefully, I will definitely give you the feedback of what happens at that.
Yeah, I look forward to hearing about that.
Yes. And I will just try to stay in the moment and not think about the end times with my grandparents. And I will give it my best shot at being social.
Yeah, you can do it. I believe in you. I know you can do it. It's going to take, like I said, it's going to take baby steps, but force yourself to get outside that comfort zone. It's going to be very uncomfortable at first, but the more you do it, before you know it, you'll be a social butterfly. Yeah. So I have faith in you.
Thanks.
So the next time you wanted to meet, what day next week is good for you?
Are you available on Thursday? I'm off Thursday all day, and Friday I get off work early, so I have those days available.
All right, let's do Thursday. How's 11 a.m. sound?
Perfect.
Will you be able to do that?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so next Thursday at 11 a.m. Make all the effort you can this week to do those things, and I am excited to hear about what happens next time we meet, okay?
Thank you.
All right, thanks, Ella. Oh.